Hi everybody, my name is Paige Ely and this is my travel channel. My husband and I are English teachers in South Korea and we actually arrived here on November 14th of this year. We have been here for almost 3 weeks now and unfortunately we have been in quarantine this entire time. Just a little bit of a backstory. When we arrived, we were told that the Korean government is very strict about COVID, and thankfully with how things have been going, they were able to cut down quarantine time from 14 days to 10 days. And so when we arrived, we had to go straight to our B&B, and we were not allowed to leave. We had to download a quarantine app that would track us on our phones to make sure that we were staying in place. And the only times we were able to leave our Airbnb was to go to the testing center. So the day after we arrived, we went to the testing center, we got our PCR test done, and the following day, my husband Nate, his test came back negative, mine came back void. And so I had to go again. The next day came back void again. So I had to go back a third time to get it taken, and was warned if it came back positive then I would have to leave the B&B and quarantine by myself. And so we prayed really hard for a negative test. Next day the results came back and it was negative, which was super awesome. And so we quarantined together for the first 9 days, and then right before we had to leave quarantine we had a test again. And so we went to the testing center, got our test done. Next day came back. Nate's came back negative, mine came back positive. I was very confused by this because we were in quarantine. I have not been around anybody. It was a very weird situation. I had no symptoms or anything, and I know that COVID is different for everybody. Some people are asymptomatic, like myself, and so I ended up being forced to go into a clinic where I currently am right now, and I had to restart my quarantine. And so I came last week and Nate had to restart his quarantine because he was in contact with me. And so he actually moved into our apartment during it because his time at the B&B came to an end, and he has to finish it off in the apartment then. And it's just been a crazy journey. Once I arrived, I was told if I got 2 negative tests in a row, then I'd be able to leave early. If not, I would have to stay for that whole quarantine period. And when I tested, it came back inconclusive. So from what like I said, I have no idea about a lot of this. Very confused, but from what they were saying, it's not a positive, but it could still be in me from before. I had a head cold way before we left, and so they're thinking it could have been from that. So it's just been a weird experience, but I have had no symptoms. I have been very bored the last few days. So yeah, it's been definitely mentally and emotionally difficult, just being stuck in a room in a foreign country where very little English is spoken. I am that super emotional person who has cried a lot, and it's just, none of it makes sense to me. But through this process, I have learned that God is in control, and there's a reason that He is doing this. I may not have the understanding for it. I don't need a reason to understand why it's happening, because He's in control and He knows what He's doing. And regardless of where I am and what's happening, I know that God's with me through it all. And so I just want to say that, because I don't want this to be a ranting video horror story of what I'm going through, because throughout all of this, I've been able to feel God's presence and know that He's here, He's not left me. And you know, these circumstances are, as much as I complain about them, it could be so much worse. And there are so many people out in the world who are going through horrible things, and yet I'm sitting here complaining that I have to be locked up in a room where they bring me all my meals and all of that. So I know I have no reason to complain, but I am super excited to be leaving tomorrow, and I'll be able to be with Nate again. And once I am able to produce a negative test, I can actually start to teach. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I honestly just can't wait to experience life here and just enrich myself in the culture, try the food, see the sights, and just see what there is. This is my first time and my husband's first time here in Asia, and so we originally thought it'd be fun to travel to different countries, experience everything, but unfortunately because of COVID we're not allowed to do that. But we can't wait to see as much of South Korea as we can, and so I just wanted to give you our little update so far. And yeah, stay tuned. There will be so much more now that we're going to be able to get out of quarantine that I can start to show you. And during this time, we've actually planned on different places we want to go, different things we want to see. So subscribe below so that you can be updated when we post a new video and keep up with our story with us. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See ya.